Ball Z. I should watch the original Dragon Ball. I know it's a lot more cartoony in comparison to Dragon Ball Z, and it's a lot less fighting and a lot more character development and adventures. Because it's based off, what was it, Journey to the West?
Yeah.
Which I've actually seen. Somebody made a Journey to the West movie, which I thought was pretty funny. And then they made a Journey to the West animation show for this one thing I was watching. I wonder if they're still doing that or they finished. Doesn't matter. The Journey to the West stuff is interesting.
You seen the Parsecs anime?
The Parsecs anime?
Parsecs. Not for JoJo, I mean. That's fine.
Oh, part 6.
You know, Stone Ocean.
I thought you were saying parsecs as in the unit of distance in Star Wars. And I'm like, is that like a sci-fi show? Yes, I've seen all the way through part 6. It was really good.
Yeah.
They said part 6. They said part 6 is the worst part. It's not.
You're far from it, dude.
I can see why people would be decisive on it though, but I definitely wouldn't call it the worst part.
Yeah. That ending? So,
Yeah.
I will say, because I've existed in groups before, I did know that the universe was going to get rewritten after part 6.
Yeah.
Plus, I am super hyped for Steel Ball Run because it's supposed to be, like, top 3 best of greats. So, I kind of knew the ending before going into it. But as far as how I feel, like, you asking how I feel about the ending, you asking me to rate it, my opinion on it?
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty good ending. I liked Emporio's revenge. I think they probably should have given Jolene a higher definition death. Like, I felt that was way too quick, and they just kind of deleted her right quick when it finally happened.
Yeah.
I get that was supposed to be a power scaling thing, saying that he's unstoppable, but I wish there just would have been, like, 10 more seconds? Maybe? Because she died instantly. Like, it was a joke.
Yeah.
Joseph... Jonathan.
Yeah.
Joestar's death, JoJo's death, because that's all I've known him as.
Really?
For some reason, I'm blanking on his fucking name. And I feel bad. Jotaro. Yeah, Jotaro Kujo. Other than... He gets called JoJo in part 3 most of the time in the English dub. You hear Jotaro at the start a couple times. But Jotaro's mostly said in part 4. Wow, whatever. I just forgot his name. Who cares? His death was really interesting. I do feel like there was a lot of random chance luck with a lot of the part. And the part where the priest is about to die and then he swaps it out with the guy who loses his shit when you, like, correct him. Just completely out of nowhere. He had no time to do it. There was no chance. I thought that was a bit forced. And where the scene where Weather Report died for the second time.
Yeah.
That was like, are you kidding me? How did he do that? Blah, blah, blah. That was an insane asshole of insane assholes. I really liked the underground airplane scene. The whole memory of the ground where things happened. That was really cool. I like how he just kept summoning dead people to die again. And then it's like, what if we just throw a bunch of school children in there? What? That was so, like, what? Overall, yeah, I think part 6 was one of the better parts. I wouldn't say there's a bad part for JoJo's, but 2's still my favorite, followed by 4, followed by 1,
Based.
followed by 3,
Having
6,
one
and
that
5. What'd you say, Bobby?
Interesting. Actually,
I said base for having one that high. I really like 1.
I started with part... I technically started watching one weird episode of part 3 back when it was the OVA.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I should watch this whole series. Part 1, I still to this day love Hamon. Or Hamon. Or however you want to pronounce it, because it's pronounced so many different ways.
it's like Ripple,
Ripple,
or
no,
Hamon.
okay.
Yeah, it's my favorite ability out of every part. And the classic Elizabethan vampire hunt, just, it got me going. Especially because I watched it first as like a teenager, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool, go on a vampire hunt using the power of light in your hands and all that shit. And it's all based on your breathing. I used to practice my breathing. I'd do like, ha, and all those shit attacks. Like, people would do the Dragon Ball moves, I'd do the Hamon moves. Yeah.
That's sick.
It is. So part 1 is definitely up there, but it does not hold a candle to part 2, because part 2 is just so fucking good. Ah.
Yeah, I like the way part 2 used Ripple.
I had
little bit
no
more.
idea Joseph Joestar's fucking theme was a rap song for the longest time. It's like a hip-hop rap. Because all I remembered was the overdrive part, but there's like this whole start where the guy has a speech. And that happens once in the anime, and it blows my mind when it happens. But yeah, part 2 is my favorite. Also, the Pillarmen are my favorite villain. I want to say Pillarmen and then Santiago, because I really like Santiago. Definitely my top 2. Followed by... So I might have rated part 5 lowest on my list. It doesn't mean it's bad. But Diavolo is top 3 villain for me. I just think he's really fun as a villain. Along with Nero or whatever his name was. With the guy that turns
Risotto.
the blood in your body into weapons.
Metallica.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
so cool.
Risotto.
It was metal as hell, pardon the pun. Yeah, Risotto Nero. Even though he's technically not a villain, by the end you figure out he's actually like a hero, but he's killing everyone who he thinks is trying to stop him. Even though both of those groups in part 5 should have been working together the whole time, but killed each other off. It's so funny. Just a misunderstanding, they kill each other off. They both have the same goal. I'll admit, part 3 Dio, I'm not a huge fan of in terms of all the villains. He's
Yeah.
probably what I'll rate on the lowest. Not because he's bad, but because he's a lot more basic villain. Because he goes from part 1 Dio to having a reason to doing all this stuff to being a spiteful dick. Like, my life sucks, so now I'm gonna make everyone else's life suck no matter how good mine gets. Blah, blah, blah. And you see all this reasoning for stuff. But by part 3, he has everything he could ever have. He's immortal. Now he's just being petulant. One second. I think somebody said something. Oh, yeah. Obviously, for my next, I really wish I you know what? We're gonna move Santiago down to 4. Whole Horse, number 2. One of my favorite characters out of all of the series. Whole Horse, man. He's just... I don't know what about... I love that he was originally designed to join the cast, the good guys, but it would have made it too bloated and made some situations too difficult to, like, write a convincing fight around. A lot of the, I guess, B-list villains I like. They definitely hit my... will be a top 10. What was the fucking guy? I don't remember his name because he walked on screen and was shot 4 times and died. But that is hilarious to me to this day.
Shit. I think I know what you're talking about.
His stand is the one that chases the quickest object. They name him once after he's been shot and dead. And then never again. And they don't even say it, it just pops up on screen. I found that to be so funny. Obviously, I'm forgetting the name because I haven't watched any of the JoJo's in so long. But the Grateful Dead stand user is really fun. And Pesci. That's a great combo. I love that duo. I am partial to it because you guys, when I had short hair, said I looked like him and shit, and I can never get that out of my head. What else? Other than those two, and then Risotto Nero and his hitmen, the other villains of that, and Diablo, they weren't really noticeable. A lot of the villains in Part 3 are literally designed to be throwaway, forgettable ones. Anubis, obviously, is one of my favorite.
Anubis was great.
Fucking, why am I forgetting the name? Unga Bunga, or whatever it was.
Oingo Boingo.
Oingo Boingo! Unga fucking Bunga. Oingo Boingo is great. Whole Horse is great.
Yeah.
I
really like the Darby brothers.
Yeah, the Darby brothers. I prefer the first Darby. But I loved how they both had the same crutch. Though the whole turning people into doll thing was creepy. Vanilla Ice was a weird one. Because he was Diet Dio. But, like, also not. If that makes any sense.
Kind of get what you mean.
No,
The vampire thing. It was kind of like... I don't know how to put it, but... I mean, he was a huge threat.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I'll also admit that I think, out of every villain, I didn't like Part 6's villain. I put him above Dio because he is more interesting. But his whole backstory, other than accidentally murdering his brother using the KKK, which is wild, wild fucking backstory. I don't know. I don't like when a guy in... I know it's supposed to show Dio's ultimate charisma and all this stuff, but we've also proven that Dio's ultimate charisma is bullshit because of how many flesh buds he had to use.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have ultimate charisma. He literally mind controls people. But we also know that Father Pucci doesn't have a flesh bud in him because of fucking... Oh, I'm forgetting the character's name, but it's the fugly father from Part 5.
The
Yeah, he had a
Yeah.
flesh bud in him,
Demoted,
and when
probably.
Dio died, he became revolting, and all that shit.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I don't know, for some of them, they didn't require it, like, in duel or whatever, they should have just bonded with Dio, so I think, I mean, you kind of can get away with that, but I get what you mean.
Well, a lot of them joined him for their own... They didn't join them for loyalty to Dio. They joined him... This person has a lot of power by their side, I can gain advantage. This person helped me, I can do this. You know, they joined for their own reasons. They didn't join because Dio said, join me, and they said, yes, daddy. Some of them did it out of fear, some of them did it for a shit ton of money. Some of them did it because they were asked to. Most of them were flesh buds. Also, it is weird how quickly the flesh buds would drop. Anubis isn't on Dio's side, right? Or is he? Because I can never determine that. Because it feels like he's out for himself.
I think ultimately he was loyal, if I recall. Wait, no, no.
I don't think he was, because I think he was found by the farmer, or cow guy, and then what happened, big fight, ended up in pulling the ref's hand. The reason I said Anubis is because he doesn't have a stand user. I will say, Anubis plus Silver Chariot is still baller to this day. Just so cool. And I gotta thank... That is perfect.
What's up?
What do you think the worst stand is? Dio, for some reason, like the weakest stand, calls it Survivor, but Survivor, holy shit, it's strong. Like I would almost say it's overpowered. Like if you knew how to use it, you could burn down a country. Like it's horrifying what Survivor can do. Also love how the Survivor arc, all those fights with Survivor were actually beautifully animated. So cool in Part 6. It's the stand that does like 0.8 volts of electricity to your brain, hits your fight or flight and purely stimulates the fight thing, and then allows you to see people's strong points and weak points and all that shit. And they're like, no, I want to fight you at the strongest and all that shit. That was so cool. That was my favorite thing. Alright, prisoners, fight! It was just so cool. I think that's one of the reasons it's become one of my favorite stands. Yeah, what do you think, like, the worst one is?
Oh god.
Probably anything automatic. But for, like, specifically, I think,
Oh, probably the one where you have to die first. Let's discount that one.
yeah, Notorious, B.I.G.
Yeah, let's not use that one.
I know for the later arcs, they just start to get ridiculous. I think Part 7, Heya, which I think is just a stand that motivates you. I mean, that's kind of cool, but it's also like...
Well, to be fair, it's still a debate to this day on whether or not it just motivates you or physically warps reality around you to give you good luck.
Who knows?
Like people are still uncertain whether or not this thing is like an S-class stand or an F-class stand. Because nobody knows. It's so ridiculous. We're kept in the dark.
I also think Love Deluxe kind of sucks. No one really talks about it, but it kind of just surprises me that it is a stand because it's
that was
Part
Part 4's, right?
Yeah.
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 Like, I don't know, having your hair as a stand, like, that's just, like, really weird.
It is weird, because when she cuts it, it gets really fucked up, don't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't really.
Yeah, that
Kinda
is
weird to
that
have.
is. It is. It's not useless, but I think the main problem with
Yeah,
it,
but it's.
she uses it to like, where she's like on the verge of killing people, but her hair is left at the scene of the crime. That's forensic evidence. Like, no matter how much hair you have, that's not going to stop you from police 9mm. Same part. Can't remember the name, but the one where all you do is swap faces around.
Oh, yeah, like
Cinderella.
Dude, actually, speaking of part 4, the one that really sucks is what was it? Superfly, like the tower one where the guy's literally stuck inside his own stand.
Superfly. Yeah.
That's
Well, because that is an automatic. It's really cool, but also really bad. Yeah. If the stand could affect you, like, it'd be a lot better. Like, if the damage you take was reflected back, yeah. And I mean, you see that in part 6 with Lightning McQueen. Oh, the character names in part 6 was silly as hell. I'm also going to say in part 4 we can't count the guy that is literally an alien. Because he does not have a stand. He does not react to stands. He's just a fucking alien for some reason.
Yeah, very random.
He's cool. I like him. I'm curious. He's not a human. Was he affected by the universal rewrite, or was he by like the Earth rewrite? I guess. Because did that
I think literally everyone was.
So it was the entire universe, not just Earth.
Yeah, like time itself was like just distorted to change fate, I'm pretty sure. And even then, I don't actually know, because the thing is, part 7 takes place like the 19 or like 1800s.
So like,
so
I
don't actually know if that's even part of.
He rewrites the universe and goes, now everyone will know their fate and be able to accept it. First off, if everyone knows their fate, they will riot against it. There's a flaw in your logic. Second off, that never comes back up again. No one in part 7 knows their fate.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't actually know if part 7 correlates with part 6's ending, because like I think originally when I remember, part 7 didn't actually start out as part 7.
It's definitely a rewritten universe. It's not the same universe. But at that same point, perhaps killing Poochie was the reason that no one knew their fate afterwards. What did it do? Exactly it made Joseph Joestar and Dio Brando. It made them American. That was the biggest change we've seen. They're no longer British people. They're American now.